Hey guys, welcome to another video. House update time. Just when you think things can't get crazier and more insane, that's when they do. So a lot of you have been wondering what has happened. Quick little recap. We started renting a home here in Greece from when we were in Australia, so we kind of planned ahead, I guess, booked it ahead, and there were a few hiccups. But generally, we had kind of made certain things clear that, you know, we didn't want their personal belongings, etc., being in the home. It was a first time kind of rental situation for them. They hadn't rented a house before and they still had some personal belongings here. So they were supposed to clear it out, maybe a coat of fresh paint, that kind of thing. Yeah. Fast forwarding to when we arrived at the home, their things are everywhere. Nothing we agreed upon has happened, and we are literally kind of, as someone put it in the comments of my previous house update video, we're practically house sitting for them and they should be paying us. So we're paying a handful of money for a house that we are partially using at this point. Now, after quite a few conversations back and forth over the past few weeks, we were very clear with the owners that, look, you're gonna need to take your personal belongings out of here. And as we had agreed previously, we don't really want the furniture because, I mean, custom wooden furniture, all in super dark colors, are kind of killing us right now. Plus we have 2 small children. Yeah, just no. And then we also said, you know, we did want the house to be painted. The walls are, put nicely, grubby. they're dirty. Yeah, like the house needs a good coat of paint. Even before we came in here, like they should have already done that. The kitchen is non-existent with the plus added to it now. So as I mentioned in the previous video and as I showed in the tour, the kitchen is exceptionally small in that it has literally 0 counter space and very, very little to non-existent storage. Fast forwarding to today, the practically non-existent counter and storage now with like the, what do you call it, the tap, the sink, you know what I mean, is now like full of mold as well as infested with ants, like little creepy crawly ants. So the joys of that as well. Having mentioned all these to the owner, we're kind of like, look, these are the things that need to happen. Can we please get the ball rolling? So they came back at us with an actually really interesting proposal. They said, okay, fine, we can't get there, but if you can kind of just pack our stuff up, we will arrange for like a mover thing to come and pick them up. So we're like, okay, that's progress. We kind of agreed to that. And they were also, so this is where things started getting weird. They started asking us what we were willing to compromise on and what we were willing to kind of offer. And I was kind of like, what do you mean offer? Like, I mean, if you want to give us the paint, we can paint it, I guess. Like, we'll pack the boxes. Like, what else would you want us to do? So they came back a few days later and they were like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Brace yourselves. They said that they wanted us to pack, wrap, make sure their things were perfectly secure to be loaded onto a truck, which will simply take them from here to there, where they will then unload them with, like, I don't know, a couple of workers they're going to pay. And we would be in charge of making sure everything was securely wrapped and nothing got damaged in transit. And that we would have to pay for the materials of the packing. And this includes things like furniture, beds, tables, etc., whatever they have in here that we just don't need and don't want. So we would have to pay for the materials. And they were also talking about us paying for the transportation fees. So they wanted us to pay because they initially had never planned on emptying the house, even though they had agreed on this with us. We had agreed before we even left Australia, okay? We agreed that they would empty out the house if we didn't want the things. They were fine. Now, they want us to pay to empty out the things. That's number 1. They then went on to continue this lovely, lovely conversation to state that let me just clarify this because even at that moment I was going nuts. We asked for a fresh coat of paint on the inside of the house. So like the living room, the bedrooms, that's probably about it. They proceeded to tell us that, look, since you want to get the house painted, that's fine with us, but you guys are gonna have to tackle like everything. You can paint the inside of the house, paint the outside of the house, cover all the costs. You can do the work yourself or pay whatever you want, but since you want the house to be painted, we don't want it to be painted. That's all on you. And we were like, what? You want us to paint the house inside and out and cover the costs as well? okay, let's like, we started kind of like, you know, at that point. Then they started talking about things like the kitchen, and like the kitchen doesn't have basic things. So it doesn't even have, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called right now. You're gonna have to figure it out. So you know the thing that goes on top of the stove when you're cooking and kind of pulls the fumes? I do not know what it's called in English right now. My brain is just, I'm done. So missing basic things. They're basically telling us in regards to the kitchen that we can fix it up. We can add cabinets, we can add counters, we can, you know, do whatever we like. She even gave us the color of the cabinets she already has so that we could paint them the same color, pay for it all ourselves, fix up her kitchen basically. And yeah, because they weren't planning on renovating the house, and this is a shock for them. Anything else that followed that, like after those first three things, I kind of just, I wasn't listening anymore. I was done. I was kind of, you know, right now, what we have to deal with is we're being told that despite the money we're paying every month, we also need to basically renovate this rental. So we're paying more than we should be already, and we're lucky that we're even paying that much apparently. And we should also be renovating their house because they had no intention of doing like anything. And because they had no intention prior, that somehow means that we need to cover all the costs of repairs. Like for example, the first day we were here, we had to pay the plumber and to like come and fix like some water damage and stuff. That was from the previous like usage of the home. It had nothing to do with us whatsoever. We paid for that. They have no intention of reimbursing us in any possible way, shape, or form. They full on told us to renovate their home while still paying us rent because according to them, the rent that we are paying is in no way enough to cover the renovation. Like it wouldn't make sense for them to pay for anything because they wouldn't be making enough money from the rental to cover the costs. So I'm kind of like, why did you agree to rent it in the first place? And plus, we only said, let's do like a coat of paint on the inside, and look, you know, the ants and the mold are not our fault. Like you haven't obviously, like you haven't seen the house in a while it seems, so that's really not our fault. And just, what would you guys do? Would you guys pay to fix another person's house, like a rental, when you have no idea when you're gonna be moving out? Even if you were to say you knew you were gonna stay in here for like years to come, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll fix it up because I'm living in it. We're talking full kitchen renovation here. They had oh my gosh, they had the gall to ask us to paint the outside of the house as well as the inside. We never mentioned the outside. I'm sorry, I'm starting to rant now. We're currently kind of contemplating what things we can kind of let go, what things would really need to be done. If there are other houses, other options. Other options are really not available right now, especially during the summer. A lot of people just kind of rent their homes out for like the summer, for like a month, 2 months, and they kind of make quite a bit more money than they would if they rented it the whole year. So it's kind of weird and difficult to find houses right now. So honestly, I don't know. I mean, there is one possibility of one house that, I mean, the people who are living in it right now are leaving in a month, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that one. But we also need to decide if like painting the living room and the bedrooms, for example, buying a cheap IKEA kitchen, whatnot, and kind of, to be honest, I will say this. I did say to her at the end of that whole lovely conversation, I did say that, so the basic thing here I said is that no matter what we do to the house, we will return it to its original condition when we leave. I am literally at that point where I would fix up a kitchen, use it as much as I need to, and then legitimately take the cabinets, counters, everything I put into it with me. I don't know if that's me just kind of cracking it right now, but that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, we need to pack all this stuff. We need to carefully pack the furniture. That is just a lot of, because the moving truck apparently was like, I don't want anything to do with the packing part. I'm just gonna bring it to your door and then you can do whatever you want with it. I mean, I feel like they were about to ask us to pay for the people that would actually help them unpack their things on their side too. Like the insanity of it. Like paying to move the things, paying to renovate the house. Technically renovate, I mean, we're just saying like a coat of paint and like a set of kitchen cabinets. Like there are other things too, like the taps, the bathroom tap needs changing, the kitchen needs changing, well, the whole thing in the kitchen needs changing, honestly. Everything is just, yeah. And they just keep saying that they had no intention of fixing any of these things because they weren't bothered by them, and that they would literally spend like a week here every summer. That's it. 1 week every summer. That is all they did. And they expect someone to live in here like the entire year without the frustration. The frustration is real. Anyway, that is where we're at right now. I don't know. I mean, what would you guys do? And that's my girls losing the plot right now behind me. So I will go, but please tell me what you would do. I need advice. I need help. Yeah. I will see you guys in the next one.